Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. It is an absolutely gorgeous day here in North Carolina, and we are busy little bees around here. You can probably hear the machinery over me. Jerry is working on the roads, so we're going to show you how we do road maintenance around here at Creekside. And Brenna and I have had the absolute most lovely morning out in the gardens. As I say, Mimi and I call it piddling. I've been pruning, I've been cleaning up perennials. I have just been having the absolute best time because it is nothing but blue skies. We're supposed to get up to like 60 today. Tomorrow's gonna be 68. I'm joking and like, we're just gonna be in our bathing suits out here tomorrow, because it's finally going to get some warmth. It gives you a little hint of spring. So much fun. We may pop down to the signature garden, just a whole bunch of things. So we're just going to kind of take you along with us as we are preparing to do maintenance and preparing to open, because the garden center is opening on February the 15th for the 2025 season. Isn't that crazy that in just a few short weeks, the season is going to begin all over again, and it is going to be an absolutely fantastic season. We're super excited about it, but there is a lot of work to be done before that happens. So just to give you a little idea, Jerry's driving away from me, and so he is on the Bobcat, and what he has is on the front of the Bobcat, he rented from Bobcat a soil conditioner. And a soil conditioner basically is this turning drum that actually chews up the gravel. So you can see where he has come through, done a pass here. This has not been touched. This has been touched because we do have so much gravel, not only here at Creekside, but Pine Hollow, which is our road, is a half a mile long, and it is a gravel road. And because we have the equipment, Jerry has the know-how, we kind of take on the maintenance of the road with our neighbors. And so Jerry has already done Pine Hollow, and then he came down here to the house and is doing the road, because you have to maintain gravel. If you have a gravel driveway, a gravel road, you know that you just can't lay the gravel and walk away from it and it's going to be fantastic for years. It's not. You have to maintain it. So the last time he did Pine Hollow was like 2 years ago, kind of cleaned it all up, got the gravel, and then we spread a ton of fresh gravel. This time, I don't know that we're adding new fresh gravel here. That's why he got the soil conditioner. So a soil conditioner is better than a land plane because it really does tear it up. It looks a little violent though. As he approaches, you'll be able to see it, because it is just chewing up that gravel and just kind of slinging it everywhere. So we're not going to get very close to that, but what it does is it does chew it up. And so you can see, or you will be able to see here in a minute, that he's going to be on an angle, and there's a reason that he's that way. B, come on. The soil conditioner is on that angle, so he's trying to get that gravel chewed up and is throwing it towards the center. B, come. He is really making a mess right now, and so it's like my kids, like when they're cleaning their room, I'm like, sometimes you have to make a mess to make it better. So he is in the process of making a mess to make it better. So it's on that angle because he's building up. We want to build up the center of the gravel road, and so that there's a crown on the top. So when it rains, water doesn't run down the center, water sheds off of the side. So that's the best way I can explain it. It's like a ridge. Obviously, it's not going to be like a crazy ridge, but you need to have that hump in the middle of the road so the water sheds off to the side, and whether that's going into the grass or it's going into the drain ditches or whatever. So right now, that's what he's doing, is he's taking that gravel from the edges and putting it more in the center. So that's why the soil conditioner is at an angle, and then once he feels like he's got that good tilth in the center of it, then he will come back, stop, take the pin out, straighten it up, and then kind of smooth the edge. So we did rent this one. I think he rented it for a whole, I think he rented it for a week, maybe, because there's a lot to be done around here. So I think he rented it for a week. That's what he was talking about. And so we rented this one. It is a manual one, as far as like if you want to change it or change the angles of it, then you have to get out, turn everything off. Of course, there's a pin, you pull the pin. It takes two people really to kind of to swing it, put the pin back in, and then you're good to go. If you were there, Bobcat does make one available that is hydraulic, so that would be where you're inside and you can just push the button and you can turn your angles and do whatever you want to. They don't have that for rent. They only have the manual one, but you know, I think so far it's working really well. It was just right after lunchtime. He did Pine Hollow in, I don't even know, maybe just a couple of hours. And so now he is working here at the house. He stopped for a second for me so I could show you what it actually looks like. It looks like really like some medieval like torture device. So it's got all these little teeth on it. And you can see that it is at an angle, right? So this side is higher than that side. That way you're getting it all nice and angled there towards the center. And then when he turns it on, of course, then that's where the hydraulics come in as far as your speed. But I mean, it just absolutely flies. So clearly you want to practice some safety precautions when dealing with the soil conditioner. And when he first came down here and he was doing it, I was like, oh my word, like I had no idea that that's what it was going to be doing. So you don't want to get one too close to your house and windows. Don't want to get too close to cars and or people, obviously, because it really does. I mean, you're slinging gravel, but it's fantastic. So he's working on that. So while he's doing that, I want to kind of come take you into the backyard, show you what Miss B and I were doing this morning, because I don't know about y'all. Now, I know a lot of y'all are still buried under snow, and I'm sorry. I can just say with true empathy in my heart, it's like, bless your heart. I don't see how y'all do it. I don't. I mean, we had a couple of weeks of crazy cold temperatures for North Carolina. We did not get any snow when that big snowstorm came through the south. We were in a snow hole, and we didn't get anything. But it was cold. And so, I was like, I can't handle this. I need to be outside. So Brenda and I have been outside all day soaking up this sun. And so it has given me a little bit of spring fever, which is good, but we are working. So I did not film anything that I was doing. I simply am in the garden to enjoy gardening. So I'm gonna go through and just kind of give you a quick little overview of what I did. And we just saw a little bumblebee. Look at that. They're happy too. Give you some plans, some ideas of what we're going to be doing, because we are going to be switching some things up around here. And so it's going to kind of take you along for that. And then we'll see where the day takes us. That's the fun thing about these videos. You never know what's going to happen. So there you go. All right. Back here, we've been really focused on the backyard because it is full sun and it's nice and toasty and warm in here. So that's what we're doing. Now, I've been doing a lot of pruning because this time of year, I do love to prune because it just makes me feel good. So I have got in this in the forest pansy bed, I have got 3 of the tiny quick fires. I had to think for a second. tiny quick fires, one of the tiniest little panicle hydrangeas, and I went ahead and pruned it. Y'all, this thing only gets like 2 feet tall, but you go ahead and prune it anyway. It blooms on new growth, so all you see are these little tiny little sticks right here, and I just took maybe like 2 inches off. It's still pruning, so there's one here and then there's one right back there. So it doesn't matter how big your rose or your hydrangea is. If it blooms on new growth, you need to prune it, even if it's only a 1/2 inch or an inch. We want to go ahead and cut it back a little bit to encourage new growth. Now, something that I really whacked back is my Sugar Shack button bush right here. This thing loves this spot. If you're not familiar with Sugar Shack, it is a native, button bushes are native. They love wet areas. You'll see them on creek banks, on ponds, those kinds of things. So I put Sugar Shack here because it was a very wet spot and I needed something there, and it loves it. Now, button bushes get their name because they have these cool, like they look like something you see underneath a microscope, these gorgeous, cute, neat, not even say they're flowers because they're not flowers, blooms, lack of a better word. Blooms on new growth, so I whacked it back. I mean, I really cut it back. You don't have to worry about, being too severe. Last year is when I pruned it the first time, and then I had a great bumper crop of little blooms this year, so she got a nice cutback. Y'all, just treat it just like you would a hydrangea, right? So when you come in, you will be able to see, like right here, you've got those 2 little leaf nodes. So I just went, like you can see, like the little bud swells right here. Maybe, I don't know if this camera's going to show it or not. There are these little like these little swells, like this a little ring right here. Just cut it above that. No big deal. Just cut it back. You'll be fine. And then look at the Edgeworthia. Is she not going to be glorious in about a month? So Edgeworthia, a paper bush, is a great winter interest shrub. These are the blooms. They are, the flower buds, rather, I should say. They're not blooming yet, but they will open up and be like these sweet orange flowers that smell divine. So I cannot wait for my Edgeworthia. I don't really prune her. I will have to look and see. Obviously, you don't want to prune her right now because you're going to cut all your flowers off. But if I'm sure she blooms on old growth. I'm just assuming, I'm making an assumption that she blooms on old growth. If that's the case, I do need to prune her back. So I will do that after she flowers. But it makes me happy because look at all that nice, pretty growth down there in the center, right? So I can just go ahead and prune her back once she's finished flowering to keep her nice and tight and compact so she doesn't overtake this area. So that's that. I might go ahead today. We'll see how the day goes, but this is the yin and yang viburnum, and it has a little quick fire here in the middle with a rose of Sharon. The little quick fire and the rose of Sharon, this is the white chiffon, they bloom on new growth, so they definitely need to be pruned back. They are very happy right here, and you can see this time of year especially how much the hydrangea is pushing out the viburnum, and that's okay because this is a really full area. I want it to be a very full area. It's gorgeous in the summertime. So these 2 definitely will get pruned here, if not today, in any time. And then my yin and yang, I can prune them now, but if I do, then I'm going to cut off my little flowers that will bloom. They're not really hugely significant flowers, but if you leave them, they will flower, then they will cross-pollinate, and then they can do like little blue berries on them. But honestly, I just love it for the foliage. Unfortunately, I hate it, and I keep telling my people at Proven Winners and Spring Meadow Nursery, I'm like, I love this plant, but they've discontinued it because where it grows, the zones is very limited, and it's very limited in the south. It does great for me. I mean, y'all, when I say I love this plant, I love this plant. It is a great evergreen, beautiful. I mean, look at those gorgeous red stems. Are they not just spectacular? And the foliage. This is after we've had, temperatures consecutively in like 17 degrees. And so for a warm weather plant and she still looks this good. Oh, so it kills me that they've discontinued it. But I do want to prune them to keep them nice and shaped and keep them out of control because they're just going to keep on growing. So I'll prune them and they'll be good. And then what else we did? Went ahead and got my little lime punches. There's a puffer fish back there. Went ahead and got those pruned. Still have not dealt with these David Alstons. That's just a whole nother battle. And I'm just like, oh, I don't want to deal with thorns today. So I'm just, that's future Jenny's problems. That's not today's problems. Also, I had one more of the Lilac Crush, got it pruned back. Now, Lilac Crush Hibiscus. This is a summerific from our friends at Proven Winners, and I adore this hibiscus. It is stunning. It is gorgeous. It is a beautiful light lavender. It'll almost take on some like purple blue hues, depends on like, I don't know if it's the temperatures, I don't know what it is, but it is gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. It loves this spot, and I planted 3 here. I never should have planted 3 here because they overtake this area, and you can see where their roots are. So you can see like their crowns right here, the 1, 2, and 3. They absolutely come over, take up my sidewalk. They are overtaking my 9 bark right here. It is just, they've outgrown this space. I never should have put 3 here, and even thinking about having 1, if I left this one, it still I think would encroach and take over on the 9 bark. So what we're going to do is we're going to take them out. So once the temperatures are appropriate, as far as like it's not crazy cold, you're going to probably wait and get a little bit warmer. I don't want to do it right now. And I may even wait until my daffodils, because you can see I had planted daffodils. I really didn't plant them that close to the hibiscuses. It's just that the hibiscuses grew that much. So I may wait until after the daffodils bloom, which would be sometime in March, and then we'll probably have to get the excavator and pop these out, because I can only imagine that the root systems on these summerific lilac crushes are going to be insane. So you absolutely can do it with a shovel. Not a problem. You're just going to have to work harder. And if I have the equipment available to me, then I'm going to take the equipment available to me. So we're going to dig them up, and we're not going to plant anything back in this space. We're going to leave it so that way my 9 bark can come on out, fill in here. My gardenias right here, you can see how much this gardenia has gotten kind of, is much smaller because that hibiscus was just all over it. So let these get bigger, leave this open. I can put annuals in here. It'll be fine. We are going to use these. I'm going to transplant them somewhere else. Don't ask me where, because I'm not exactly sure, but they're going to go somewhere because I do adore this. And then coming on over to this bed is we are going to be redoing this bed as far as like redesigning. The shape is great. Not going to worry about the shape. I have the summerific, it's the red one, Valentine's Crush. I knew it was something with Valentine's Crush right here. That's coming out. And so because I have one here and then I have one in the other flower bed, and while they are beautiful and they are very columnar, they're very upright, they're a beautiful red. It's a very vigorous plant. It's a very happy plant. It's not the design that I want in this space. So I have one in this bed and then one in the magnolia bed. So those are going to come out. I'm also going to go ahead and take out some other things, move some things around. This is a little petite ginkgo tree. It's a maidenhair, so it's more of a shrub than a tree. But it is a ginkgo, and it does the ginkgo leaves in the beautiful color, but it's nice and petite, so it's that shrub. It's very happy here. She's going to stay. I have a pugster right here that I whack back. It's coming out. We're going to take that one out. And then I have, these are 3 of the double play doozy spireas. Clearly, they are very happy here. Love them. And remember, right behind me in the flower bed, directly behind me, right here, I have more double play doozies. I love this spirea. It is fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these spireas out. So we're going to dig them up, right? We'll see if it's a shovel or the excavator, I don't know. We're going to dig these 3 up and we're going to bring them over and we're going to fill in this corner right in here. So we're going to do a nice tight clump mass planting right here. So where that hibiscus is, I have one pathetic little perennial grass. All the other ones died, so that one's going to come out. And so those doozies will go in here on this back corner, because here is where we do all of the annuals in the corner. So we're going to move those, and then what we're going to do in the center here is I am going to dig up my David Alston Poet's Wife, which is right over here where those are. So there's 3 Poet's Wife that are in a group together. I'm going to dig them up and I'm going to basically plant them where these doozies are. More though in a line instead of staggered, and I'll go ahead and space them really evenly because we have the cherry tree and the Hinoki slender right here. So I'm going to space them, and so evenly spaced right here, and it'll be nice and balanced. Probably going to go ahead and get rid of this unique stone urn, take it out. I just feel like this flower bed is way too chaotic, like the beds back here. I just feel like they're too chaotic, and that I was trying to put too many different plants in there, and I want to refine it, bring it back in, keep it clean, keep it simple, and go with that. The bones are great, the trees are great, the shape is great. I don't like how I placed some of those plants. So that's what I'm going to be reworking. So I think it's going to be gorgeous having those 3 Poet's Wife there, because they're a beautiful yellow rose. Oh my gosh, and they smell glorious. They are fantastic. So those are going to go there, and then I have 2 Fairy Trail Bride hydrangeas that have struggled. I mean, you can see, y'all, look how pitiful these things are. There's one here and there's one right there. I mean, when I say pathetic and struggled, they are pathetic and they have struggled. So they are going to come out and they will go into a more wooded area, like here along the creek when we were putting in the propane tank, that kind of area. They're just out here and they're way too exposed. So we're going to move them. I'll do some other things in here, but that's the main thing that we're going to do there. Now, talking about moving the Poet's Wife, so if you remember when I was doing the video about pruning roses and how to prune your roses, I told you that I had ordered some more David Alstons, and so we're doing some musical chairs with roses this year. So what we're going to do is, here I have, if you're not familiar with this space, I have 3 clumps of roses, and they're all David Alstons, and I was trying to go in that same color family and to make a nice impact but have variety, so I could try different roses. So we have Roald Dahl, we have Susan Williams Ellis, and then this is the Poet's Wife, and they're in groups of 3. So the Poet's Wife, dig those up and spread them out, they'll go down there. Susan Williams Ellis, while I appreciate the lady that it's named after, she's not my favorite. It's just not my favorite rose. And so they're a white rose. They don't really have a fragrance, at least not here. So I don't know what I'm going to do with these. And honestly, it's like, I'm thinking that, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, is that, so there are 3 of the same, Susan Williams Ellis. I have no plans for where they're going to go. So I may, when I dig them up, if you want them, just come to the nursery and get them. You're more than welcome to have them. So if anybody wants the Susan Williams Ellis roses, there's 3 of them. And you don't have to take all 3. You just take 1 if you want to. They're yours for free. So just come to the nursery on the Saturdays when we're open, sweet friends, and you can come get them. It's the perfect time to go ahead and plant them. Now through sometime through March, be a great time to plant them. Of course, I'm going to have them pruned for you and everything. So if you want them, come. I will make an announcement, or you can shoot me a message or something on social media, and we can arrange, and I'll let you know when I dig them up and you can come get them. But I think that's what I want to do. I'm just going to give them away. Y'all take them. So y'all can have them. What we're going to do though is, in the place of the Susan Williams Ellis and the Poet's Wife, I love Roald Dahl. It smells insanely fantastic. It's a gorgeous flower, and I'm going through that consistency. So I have ordered 6 more rhubarb dolls. So we're gonna have a total of 9 of those roses right there together. A huge mass planting of that same rose right there. So that is the plan for the roses, and I am so stinking excited. And then I got a red one, and now the name has completely escaped me. It is a red small climber for the chicken coop. So I'm gonna put it on the edge, the side edge of the chicken coop. Lovely, very, very excited about that for sure. All right, so let's go see what else we can get into, because I'm really not sure what's happening. I lost Jerry, so let me go see if I can find him and what he's doing. All right, I found him. He's coming back. You can see, maybe you can see that the soil conditioner is on nice and straight now. And so he is coming back through the center of the driveway and evening out that ridge, and the rocks are flying. And he's off again. Y'all, I just couldn't handle it. Jerry was still working on the road a little bit. It is such a beautiful day. I love it. So I went ahead and started pruning on the roses. I wasn't really planning on it, but you know what? The opportunity arose. The day is gorgeous. Why not? So I was working on these guys. Did not get finished. I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm just doing what I can do. So I've got the rhubarb dolls right here. They had much more stems than the Susan Williams Ellis did. So what I first did, it was just like took the height off of them and just really got in there and took off all that tall growth so I could really then get in. And then I came in and started doing some fine tuning on that, pruning on those guys. So I got these 2 done, and I still have this one to do. Jerry and I have a meeting we've got to go to, so my time is limited. So I still have one of those to do, but you can see the difference as far as the structure. Then you come over here to the Susan Williams Ellis, right? And so much less canes on it, much more open. Again, if you want them, just shoot me a message, and we will arrange a day for you to come pick them up once the nursery opens. And then I will go ahead and get the Poet's Wife and get that one done as well. This is a Bloomerang dark purple lilac. Actually does really, really well for me here. And so she is glorious. I never thought I could have a lilac here in North Carolina with our heat and humidity. She does great. I am not going to prune her because she blooms on old growth. So she's already set her buds from this past summer's growth. So I'm going to leave her alone. She is going to flower and be fragrant. It was so funny. I think it was last year, and I was in the garden and I was like, what is that fragrance? What is that fragrance? We're just not used to like lilacs here. And it took me, a couple of days to realize, oh my gosh, it is the Bloomerang dark purple that smells amazing. So I cannot wait for her to bloom. The butterflies just loved it so much. And then the flamethrower, this is a Japanese maple, is really putting on some nice growth here, doing really well. Japanese maple that loves the full sun. Can't wait to see her pop out as well. And then Jackson joined me for a little bit. He was like, Mama, those tea olives, man, they are looking good. And I was like, yeah, they're gonna get pruned in a couple of months. And he was like, pruned? Why are you gonna prune them? They're looking good, and they are looking good. So as I told him, we're gonna take the tops out. All this top growth right here, we're gonna cut it back because I want the tea olives to get nice and thick. If I don't prune them, they're just gonna keep going up and get really spindly and thin and wispy. They're still going to grow tall, but I need this to get really nice and thick. So I'm controlling that growth on them. So that will be done. Typically I do that sometime in like early March. So I'll just come through and prune it. You can see actually like right here where I pruned it last year. So this is where I cut it, and then all of this, that was last year's growth. So there you go. And then like here is another one, prune it right here, and then those two. So this is why we prune it, because it'll double up and get nice and thick. Yeah, like this one, yeah, all that. So all that is last year's growth. So don't worry, they're still gonna grow, but they just are gonna get thick. Again, cut it here, and then look all the way up. So it has been a great day here in the garden. I definitely do the vast majority of my pruning in the spring because I have so many shrubs that bloom on new growth. So that is when I do the vast majority of my pruning, whether it is my panicle hydrangeas, my smooth hydrangeas, my roses, of course, and then you start pruning back like my double play doozy spireas. Those will get pruned probably like at the end of February. Once I start to see a little bit of like little bud swells on them, like the leaf swells, I'll start to do that. But yeah, we're going into, it's getting ready to get started here, my friends, and it is great. Saw a little honeybee out here today. So much fun. I can't tell you how great it feels to be outside. If you're a gardener, I think you know those first sunny, slightly warm days just make you happy. But I told Jackson, because he was like, Mom, I need to buy some t-shirts. This sweatshirt's getting so hot. And I was like, brother, yes, you can buy t-shirts, but the cold days are not gone for good. So they'll be back. So we're just going to enjoy these days while we have it. Y'all have a great day wherever you are. And if you can't get out in your garden, get out your garden. If you can't get out in your garden because you're covered in snow or it's really cold, dream, plan, right? Have fun. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.